So now that you've booked your rental car, let's talk about what happens when you arrive in Ireland. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through what to expect when you pick up your car, what's different between Dublin and Shannon airports, and the quick checks you should do before driving away. Welcome to another Traveling in Ireland Quick Tips episode, where I share one piece of advice to help you make the most of your Ireland vacation. I'm Jody Halstead, Ireland Travel Advisor and host of the Traveling in Ireland podcast. So you are ready to pick up your rental car in Ireland. Now, whether you're picking it up at the airport or at an off-site location, this first bit will not change no matter where you are. You want to be sure that you have your booking confirmation information ready in case you need it, in case you give your name and it's a misspelling or anything like that. You want to make sure that you have that confirmation number to make it easy to find. You also want to be prepared to hand over your driver's licenses for all drivers if those were not input into the app when you made your booking. And some companies may ask for your passport for ID verification. Now, if you didn't purchase any of these extra things when you made your booking, so we're talking about insurance, GPS, toll device, additional driver, any of that, those are going to be offered to you again when you are picking up the car. So know what you've already paid for, know what you don't need, go back and review those extra fees in a past episode that I have. You're also going to need to be prepared to pay for any additional charges with a credit card in the primary driver's name. So these extra charges cannot be paid for by the secondary driver or by somebody who is coming along. They have to be in the name of the primary driver on their card. The agent will go over your coverages, the excess amount that you have, if there are any deductions or deductibles or anything, and any restrictions that are on your rental. Usually there aren't going to be any restrictions, but if they are, you're going to know about it before you leave that counter. And then you can also expect a hold or a pre-authorization on your credit card for the excess if you haven't taken full coverage. You can also expect a hold or a pre-authorization on your credit card for a couple of things. Number one, a hold if you have opted to utilize a third party or credit card insurance for the excess. You're going to have a large hold placed on your card. You are also going to have a pre-authorization for fuel. Now, usually when you rent a car in Ireland, you are expected to bring it back full. Just in case you don't, you have to leave a pre-authorization so they can fill it. Now, I said in a previous episode that if I am returning to Dublin, I just pre-purchase fuel because I don't want to mess with it around Dublin Airport. If I'm returning to Shannon or even, Cork or maybe a city location in Galway or Limerick, I'll fill it because it's no problem out there. It's just, I don't like the hassle at Dublin. But you will have a pre-authorization on your credit card for that. You also might find that there are companies that will take a small hold of around €250 to possibly cover the key fob. Those are not covered in any kind of insurance, and sometimes there is a hold for that. So just take a minute, make sure that you know what you booked and what you didn't before you go to pick up your car so you are prepared when the options come up. So know what you need, know what you have, and and be confident in it, right? Just also, before you leave the counter, confirm your drop-off location and the hours of that, especially if it is not a return to an airport. Now, speaking of airports, we're just going to touch on Dublin and Shannon airports. Those are the two airports that have international flights coming from North America, and North America is my main audience, so that is why I am touching on those two airports in this episode. So for Dublin Airport, you're going to find car rental agencies in both Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. In Terminal 1, the rental agencies are on the arrivals hall, which is floor 1, so ground floor. They're right there. They're just kind of lined up along the wall. And in Terminal 2, when you exit the arrivals hall, you're going to actually walk straight forward. You're going to cross a sky bridge, and then the car rental agencies are just over there. So it keeps that arrivals area a little less packed. So just walk straight forward, follow the signs, cross the sky bridge, and you will see the car rental agencies. Do know that lines can be long during peak arrival times. So, take a breath, get a coffee, and a little bit of patience is never a bad thing to have in your pocket. Now, at Dublin Airport, there are a few rental companies that will offer on-terminal pickup. So you are going to be able to walk into the parking area, the multi-level car park, and pick up your car rental on the ground level and drive straight out of the airport. All the others are located at an off-site location. It's, maybe 7 minutes drive from the airport, and you will be directed to a shuttle pickup. So make sure that you know where that shuttle pickup is. They're all in one location and they'll all have different numbers. So it's about a 3 to 5 minute walk, depending on which terminal you arrive in, to walk to the shuttle pickup. The shuttles run frequently, but plan 15 to 20 minutes from baggage claim to get to your car, at least more if it's very busy. And remember that every company has their own shuttle, so make sure that you're getting on the right shuttle for the right car rental company. At Shannon Airport, the car rentals are right across from arrivals, so you don't have any shuttle. You literally just walk out and the cars are right there. It is a much smaller airport, so the process is faster, but there are fewer vehicles available just due to the size and the amount of air traffic. Pre-booking does matter at Shannon, and also know that it can be difficult to get larger vehicles at Shannon Airport. Because Dublin is the main airport in the country and the majority of people fly into Dublin, the larger vehicles are usually at the Dublin Airport. I have once been able to pick up a 9-passenger vehicle at Shannon, but I'm going to tell you what happened. This was a nightmare. I had confirmed the rental there. We went to pick it up, and they brought us an 8-passenger vehicle with no baggage space. And the problem is that the vehicle I had rented had been damaged in an accident, and there was not another vehicle available of that size. Luckily, we are able to drive a manual transmission. They were able to get us a manual transmission, but I think we waited an hour and a half before we were able to get that vehicle. And I have since learned that they won't deliver large vehicles over to Shannon Airport, at least this year. So just know larger vehicles at Shannon Airport may not be a possibility. Now, a final tip on airports. If you're picking up your rental vehicle on the terminal in Dublin, confirm where you're going to return that vehicle, because most car rental companies require the off-site return. So just because you picked it up in the terminal doesn't mean you're returning it to the terminal. So make sure you know where it's going back to. The next thing you want to think about is your vehicle inspection. So before you drive away, you are going to do a vehicle inspection. This is usually with an agent, unless you are doing a contactless car rental. And this is something I'm just going to say, if you have a zero deductible policy, so if you are fully covered 100%, no ifs, ands, or buts, zero deductible, this is not that necessary, because you can bring back the steering wheel and you're fully covered. If you have a deductible on your policy, or if you are using third-party or credit card coverage, you want to be sure to do this. You're going to walk around the car with the agent. You are going to photograph or video every side, the roof, the wheels, any existing scratches, dents, cracks, anything inside that isn't pristine almost. You want to make sure that that it's clean on the inside, that there aren't any rips, that everything's the way it's supposed to be. You want to document this because if you don't have that zero deductible and the car's damaged, then you're going to get charged for it, right? So you want to make sure that you have it all noted. The agent that you do the walk around will also note it, but sometimes they don't note things that they say are too small to count. And then it comes back that, well, they were wrong and you didn't document it, so it falls on you. So document everything if you do not have a fully covered zero deductible policy on the rental car. You also want to make sure that you have your rental paperwork in the glove box. Make note of any special instructions for tolls. If you bought a toll pass or refueling, make sure you know what kind of fuel goes in it, and make sure you know how to start the car. Do you have to use the key? Is it a push button? Are there any special tips or tricks? Make sure you have all that in hand before you leave. And maybe take a drive or two around the parking lot to make sure that you are ready to get out on the road, driving on the correct side before you pull out. When it comes to returning the car, there are a few things you want to remember. You want to refuel according to the agreement. Most, like I said earlier, you leave the rental agency full, you bring it back full unless you have prepaid the fuel. I always recommend that if you're traveling with a group, drop off extra people and luggage, either at the airport or at a hotel before returning the car. Less luggage to move, less hassle all the way around. When you drop off the car, you want to take those photos again at the same angles as pickup, unless you have that zero deductible policy, so that you can compare and contrast just in case you get a bill after the fact that says you left damage or you left it excessively dirty. Anything like that, you want to make sure that is taken care of. When you are returning it, hopefully there will be an attendant there to take the keys and do a quick look at the vehicle. Otherwise, you're going to be looking for a drop box for the keys. When you're dropping off at Shannon Airport, give yourself 15 to 20 minutes. You really don't need a lot of extra time there. At Dublin, maybe 30 to 45, depending on the flight time. If it's morning, give yourself a little more leeway. Mornings are always busier when you're flying back to the U.S. from Dublin Airport. If you're returning to an independent location or to a city location, be aware of the opening hours. And if you're dropping off after hours, number one, be sure if you know it's allowed. Be sure you know where to park the car and where to drop the keys. So those are my tips for what to expect when you're picking up your rental car, from paperwork and photos and drop-offs. All of these little extras are going to save you a lot of stress later and help you start your trip relaxed and ready to go. In the next episode, I'm going to clear up a very common question I receive. Will your driver's license work in Ireland, or do you need an international permit? Thanks so much for joining me. Slán for now.